Laura Ling and Yuna Lee were researching the human trafficking of North Korean women into China. However, of North Korean women and girl refugees in China, an estimated 80 to 90% are victims of trafficking. This is likely the highest percentage of trafficking in a single population. While the White House is stressing that former President Bill Clinton's trip to Pyongyang to rescue 2 imprisoned American journalists is a solely private mission, Clinton is being accompanied by John Podesta, the former transition chief for President Barack Obama, photos released by official North Korean media show. Podesta, a former chief of staff in Clinton's White House, is now the head of a liberal Washington think tank, the Center for American Progress. Also seen taking notes in one photo and standing by North Korean leader Kim Jong-il, longtime Clinton aide Doug Band. The purpose of the trip is to try to win the release of Americans Laura Ling and Yuna Lee, both of former Vice President Al Gore's current TV. Obviously, Bill Clinton is a big name and something of a publicity coup for the North Koreans. Podesta's presence could add to perceptions that this is something more than a charity visit. However, the White House is denying a North Korean report that Clinton carried a verbal message from Obama. Welcome to the dark world of Jeffrey Epstein, Ghislaine Maxwell, Bill and Hillary Clinton, the Clinton Foundation, Alexander Soros's main squeeze Huma Abedin, and top Clinton world advisor Doug Band. Doug Band served as counselor and chief advisor to former President Clinton until 2012 and became the key architect of Clinton's post-presidency. During Clinton's post-presidency, Band helped set up and advised President Clinton's personal office and the Clinton Global Initiative, and advised the William J. Clinton Foundation in its formative years. He created and built the Clinton Global Initiative. According to figures released by the Clinton Foundation, CGI raised $69 billion for 2,100 philanthropic projects around the world. Clinton has credited Band with CGI. Doug had the idea to do this, also stating that he was very grateful for the role that Band played when we started out. In 2002, Doug Band met Jeffrey Epstein as Bill Clinton and Epstein went on a trip together. Band said he disliked Epstein and urged Clinton to cease his relationship with him, which Clinton refused to do. Band claimed in a 2020 interview that he was unaware of Epstein's criminal activities, and he also said Clinton had visited Epstein's orgy island, Little St. James, in January 2003. The flight logs of Epstein's private jets indicate Band traveled on Epstein's airplane 26 times, including 2 flights on June 14, 2003, together with Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell, but without Clinton. Band negotiated with the Obama administration to appoint then-Senator Hillary Clinton to become Secretary of State. Band also traveled with former President Bill Clinton to North Korea to orchestrate the release of American journalists Laura Ling and Yuna Lee from captivity on August 4, 2009. My fellow Americans, over the course of the next several days, you will undoubtedly realize that we are taking back our great country, the land of the free, from the evil tyrants that wish to do us harm and destroy the last remaining refuge of shining light. On POTUS's order, we have initiated certain fail-safes that shall safeguard the public from the primary fallout which is slated to occur 11.3 upon the arrest announcement of Mr. Podesta, actionable 11.4. Confirmation, to the public, of what is occurring will then be revealed and will not be openly accepted. Public riots are being organized in serious numbers in an effort to prevent the arrest and capture of more senior public officials. On POTUS's order, a state of temporary military control will be actioned and special ops carried out. False leaks have been made to retain several within the confines of the United States to prevent extradition and special operator necessity. Rest assured, the safety and well-being of every man, woman, and child of this country is being exhausted in full. However, the atmosphere within the country will unfortunately be divided, as so many have fallen for the corrupt and evil narrative that has long been broadcast. We will be initiating the Emergency Broadcast System, EMS, during this time in an effort to provide a direct message, avoiding the fake news, to all citizens. Organizations and/or people that wish to do us harm during this time will be met with swift fury. Certain laws have been pre-lifted to provide our great military the necessary authority to handle and conduct these operations at home and abroad.
I'm Senator Alyssa Slotkin.
Senator Mark Kelly.
Representative Chris DeLuzio.
Congresswoman Maggie Goodlander.
Representative Chrissy Houlihan.
Congressman Jason Crow.
I was a captain in the United States Navy.
Former CIA officer.
Former Navy.
Former paratrooper and Army Ranger.
Former intelligence officer.
Former Air Force.
We want to speak directly to members of the military
And the intelligence community.
Who take risks each day
To keep Americans safe.
We know you are under enormous stress and pressure right now.
Americans trust their military.
But that trust is at risk.
This administration is pitting our uniformed military
And intelligence community professionals
against American citizens.
like us. You all swore an oath.
To protect and defend this Constitution.
And right now, the threats to our Constitution aren't just coming from abroad,
But from right here at home.
Our laws are clear. You can refuse illegal orders.
You can refuse illegal orders.
You must refuse illegal orders.
No one has to carry out orders that violate the law.
Or our Constitution.
We know this is hard.
And that it's a difficult time to be a public servant.
But whether you're serving in the CIA,
In the Army,
Our Navy,
The Air Force.
Your vigilance is critical.
and know that we have your back.
because now, more than ever,
The American people need you.
We need you to stand up for our laws.
our Constitution,
And who we are as Americans. Don't give up.
don't give up.
don't give up.
Don't give up the ship. I'm Senator Alyssa Slotkin.
Senator Mark Kelly.
Representative Chris DeLuzio.
Congresswoman Maggie Goodlander.
Representative Chrissy Houlihan.
Congressman Jason Crow.
I was a captain in the United States Navy.
Former CIA officer.
Former Navy.
Former paratrooper and Army Ranger.
Former intelligence officer.
Former Air Force.
We want to speak directly to members of the military
And the intelligence community.
Who take risks each day.
To keep Americans safe.
We know you are under enormous stress and pressure right now.
Americans trust their military.
But that trust is at risk.
This administration is pitting our uniformed military
And intelligence community professionals
Against American citizens.
like us. You all swore an oath.
To protect and defend this Constitution.
And right now, the threats to our Constitution aren't just coming from abroad,
But from right here at home.
Our laws are clear. You can refuse illegal orders.
You can refuse illegal orders.
You must refuse illegal orders.
No one has to carry out orders that violate the law.
Or our Constitution.
We know this is hard.
And that it's a difficult time to be a public servant.
But whether you're serving in the CIA,
In the Army,
Our Navy,
The Air Force.
Your vigilance is critical.
and know that we have your back.
because now, more than ever,
The American people need you.
We need you to stand up for our laws.
our Constitution,
And who we are as Americans.
The Podesta plan.
What is the Podesta plan?
Well, when I talk about this, I get chills because in August of 2020, Breitbart wrote about it, the Daily Caller wrote about it, but the New York Times wrote about it first. And Podesta does this big Democrat Party war game.
Which Podesta? John
Podesta.
Former White House Chief of Staff. Yep.
Absolutely. And then later the climate czar for Biden, or divvying up the climate money, stealing it. He comes out of this huge report. They published the whole thing. And I'm reading like this, it was like 70 pages or something. And they say, if Trump wins in 2020, this is in August, months before, which they were able to steal it, so he didn't. He said, we're going to have Western states secede. We're going to have blue cities secede, but we'll start with the Western states, California, Oregon, and Washington. And we'll call it over migrants and sanctuary cities and healthcare at first, which they're now doing. I'm getting chills because it's all happening. Like you go to a play and you're reading, oh, the next act is this. And Romeo and Juliet, I mean, it's all right there. And they say, if he wins, we will say it's illegitimate. We will have blue states first secede and that they're going to be sanctuary cities for the illegals. Then when there's civil unrest, which they'll furnish, Trump will send the National Guard, and then there'll be a massacre of the migrants, and then we will kick off a civil war. Then all the blue cities across the country will secede. Then New York, Massachusetts, and others will secede. And we'll form what we call the Western Alliance. And we will then, the U.S. military will be with us, because they control the generals. People that think that don't think otherwise, that was Trump's big mistake he found out. Most of them are globalists at the top, not your enlisted, they're great people. And that they would then form a military alliance if Trump didn't stand down, and they would march on D.C. And then they made a movie produced 2 years ago, they released last year, called Civil War, that is the last act of the Podesta plan. That's in a 2+ year Civil War, race-based. At the end, they go and, the black female sergeant kills the Trumpian figure in the White House. And that's because evil white people are out massacring brown people across the country. So the U.S. military reconvenes under a Gavin Newsom's command type. And then they come in and then they take over the country, and then they re-educate all the evil right-wingers and evil white people. And then I saw Gavin Newsom on Colbert about 3 weeks ago, and he said, oh, we're forming, they hold a map up, the Western Alliance, and it's for migrants and healthcare, and we're getting ready to go on offense. And Colbert goes, ah, he does that demon face, he goes, ah, and the whole crowd goes, ah, because they're all read in on this. We have countless videos at rallies in Austin and Denver and New York where the left goes, soon Trump and Homan will kill a bunch of us. And when they do, that's when the uprising begins. So they're all read in on this. They all know it is the Podesta plan. They all know it's the Western Alliance. They all know it's the Western offense. And so you have the Soros NGO-funded No Kings events, like they had on the 14th of June, when the guy that worked for Tampon Tim went around reportedly, killing senators and state reps there at the state level. He later told the FBI and wrote a letter saying, no, I did this for the Democrats as a false flag, so that Tim Walz could, play victim. He supposedly had a bunch of accomplices, but they didn't help him. They caught his wife and a bunch of people with passports, guns, and money, fleeing the area. But within 2 hours of the attack, they had his roommate on TV saying, he loved Trump and Alex Jones. Isn't that interesting? It's all very scripted. But my point is, now you have the No Kings this weekend, and we now have Schumer on Monday went on MSNBC and said, we need to have a forceful uprising. We need to have a forceful uprising. What's the exact quote? My producer's over there. So this is chilling. And he said he wants to keep the shutdown going at least until next Saturday, the 18th, to get the maximum amount of anger that they can get. You have Hakeem Jeffries saying similar things. So they're not even hiding any of this anymore.
So the idea is to whip their supporters into a frenzy, basically do BLM 5 years later.
Yes, but on a much wider scale. And so when you have, here, I'll put the actual quote. When you actually have, because I have it posted on my Expert Law Jones, when you have these guys openly saying this, I mean, this is as big a deal as it gets. I mean, this is just,
when Senator Chuck Schumer.
Forceful uprising. I want to get it exactly right. Forceful uprising.
Chuck Schumer called for a forceful uprising?
Forceful uprising because of the indictment of Letitia James on mortgage fraud.
But I mean, it sounds like Letitia James committed mortgage fraud.
Well, they're only gone after in Virginia so far. New York, as you know, is even worse. And what's crazy is we have all the public documents. Total fraud, like 4 residences as primary residence, residences that she says are single-family homes, and there's 5 people, 5 apartments in it. I mean, this is serious fraud. So everything she accused Trump of doing baselessly, she's now doing, and she's the chief.
Well, that's always the way, Alex, isn't it?
Exactly. Total inversion. So everything they've accused Trump of is what they're actually doing. And then she's been caught, and now they're whining. CNN the other day said, well, everybody engages in mortgage fraud. Well, I don't.
No, I don't engage in mortgages, and much less fraud. No, but it is always just like when Bill Kristol accused me of backing an ethno-state. I was like, no, I'm not the one who backs the ethno-state. So Chuck Schumer saying a forceful uprising is called, he wants a forceful uprising.
He called this weekend for a forceful uprising, close quote, on MSNBC. He goes, we need to have a forceful uprising to this. Similar to his, you've reaped the whirlwind thing, you're going to get it. So they're obviously agitating for more violence. You see the governor candidate in Virginia, after the AG candidate who's been in the lead, said, I want to kill these state reps. I want to kill their children. I want to kill cops. And then the other gubernatorial candidate asked the lady, will you decry him calling for killing members of the legislature and their children by name? And she said, nope.
Abigail Spanberger.
Yeah,
I think it was a CIA officer at one point.
It's totally insane. And she sits there with this bizarre look on her face. I mean, these people are doing this on purpose, and it's called the Podesta plan. And so I'm sure the Pentagon knows about this. The problem is most of those top generals are globalists. People that don't know, they've been put through all the schools. They don't get promoted unless they're globalists. Most of our generals have been bad since the 90s. They teach them at the Army War College. I've read these reports that literally America needs to end. We need to be part of a world government. The communism is good.
So let's just narrow it down. If you really believe that widespread civil unrest preparatory to civil war is coming, if Chuck Schumer, one of the senior senators, is calling for it, then you really need to make sure the military is under control, that it's not politicized, that it's not, that it reports to the president as it's constitutionally mandated to do. Like the military is the key, correct?
Yes, and I loved Hegseth's speech, and that's the right direction, but we need more of that. And a lot of the generals were rolling their eyes, giggling, putting their heads in their hands. And I guarantee you just go, okay, who's that guy? Look at his record. He's going to be a commie, a leftist.
But wouldn't you, it would be almost an emergency situation. You would need to make certain that the general officers in your military were loyal to the Constitution.
Exactly. And the left and the corporate media act like if Trump wants prosecutions, he's not supposed to do that. No, he's a chief law enforcement officer. We elected him for that. We elect one man in the general election. All of us have an ability to vote for only one position. And so it's not Trump's right. It's his duty. It's only the president that makes a special oath, not to just protect, preserve, and defend, but protect and defend like the rest of the military do, but to protect and preserve and defend. He's supposed to preserve the republic. So 400 troops to Chicago, 200 to Portland. This is nothing. They're openly waiting to gear up the violence. Then they're going to false flag, I believe, some of the illegal aliens or traditional black college, which I predicted this before. They evacuated the traditional black colleges a month ago. And said,
I didn't even know that. Why?
And said Charlie Kirk's supporters are coming to kill you. Then it turned out it was a false flag. They admitted fake calls. That's the left, because Carville and Podesta and all of them, John Podesta, have said on TV, now that they've gone live with the Podesta plan when Trump was president-elect, and then once he got in, there's hundreds of videos of them all on there saying, Carville, now listen, it's 1776 part 2. I can't really do his voice. Can't do a Louisiana voice, sorry. He said, black people got to be ready. Trump's coming to kill you with Tom Homan. You got to have your guns and be ready. The View, we got to be ready to fight and die. They're coming to kill us. On CNN, they'll be sitting there debating, Trump's coming with the military to kill black people and Hispanics. And then I think, well, where could there be a group of Hispanics, an illegal alien demonstration or something, then somebody from a parking garage mows a bunch of them down, blames it on some Trump supporter, or where is a bunch of black folks by themselves, traditional black college? So I've been saying that for 8-9 months, seeing their programming, how they're saying Trump's going to kill masses of Hispanics and blacks. Well, where can they do a false flag? Those two places and a few others. Then a month ago, they evacuated most of the black colleges for a week, saying Charlie Kirk supporters are coming to kill you, trying to piggyback on that and create this illusion that Trump supporters blamed black people for this. No, we blame, if you believe the official story, some trans supporter cult members. So absolutely, going back to your point, There needs to be Pentagon mobilization. Trump needs to address the nation on this, talk about the Podesta plan. Any of his crew, I can send it to him, can put a reel together like he did when they said no South African farmers are being killed. He just showed a 5-minute video. It devastated him. I can send them a 10-minute clip of hundreds of clips of top Democrats saying Trump's coming to kill the migrants. He's coming to kill the blacks. We got to rise up. We got to have a civil war. And then I can show the quotes from the Podesta plan laying this out. This is the official Democrat Party battle plan with production movies, $350 million budgets, Civil War, promoting it. Now the new movie, Battle After Battle, with DiCaprio, where it's set in a fictional fantasy land in the U.S. where they have this hot sex and it's so awesome, and they go around with plastic explosives and dynamite machine guns killing ICE officers all over the U.S. and freeing Hispanics from concentration camps. So Hollywood's not, making its constant Holocaust movies about World War II. They've moved on to the new Holocaust that isn't happening. The first one did, of just Tom Homan just machine gunning Hispanic women and raping them in dungeons. I mean, it's like Machete Kills, where there's Don Johnson shooting pregnant Hispanic women in the stomach with deer rifles. Didn't happen, folks, but Hollywood is providing this background right on time for these uprisings. There's planning because the globalists are losing. This is their last big move. And I'll say it again, the Podesta plan, the Podesta plan, we've got to get the Podesta plan that we're now living in the launch of in front. So Trump's declared Antifa, domestic terrorist, international terrorist. He said they're going after Soros, which I know the DOJ is. That's great. But this is the Democratic Party running it. That's why they say Antifa doesn't exist, because we got documents 10 years ago through Friends of Democracy and Alexander Soros, where they command them in each city, give them orders, where to attack, what to do. It is all 100% specifically road mapped out, open and shut, racketeering, domestic terrorism, send them to prison with the documents we have.
I mean, since it's all happening out in the open, how do you, so once that starts, it's pretty hard to pull back from it. Violence has its own logic, and